Hello dear students, we are doing Unit 6 Shadow and Light in English. We started with this chapter and in Activity 1 we did the poem by Robert Louis Stevenson, My Shadow, and after that we did the activities. Now let's move ahead with Activity 3. Do you know that it takes some time for the light from the sun to reach the earth? How long do you think it takes? Read carefully to find out. Well, we have studied in social that sun is the huge ball of hot gases and it's from the solar rays that we get the light, the days and night. You know all that. But how much time does the sun rays, the light from sun, take to reach the earth? Let's read and find out. If you know how to divide, you can figure out how long it takes for the light from the sun to reach the earth. There is the formula to know the time taken, or the formula for knowing the speed is distance upon time. So the formula for time is distance upon speed, and we have to do this according to the directions given. Read carefully and follow these directions. The sun is very far away from earth. We know that the sun is very far. It is 150 million kilometers away. That is 150 followed by 6 zeros. You have to do this activity in your textbook in activity 4. Now that you know the distance, you need to know the speed of light. Light is very fast. It travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. The light speed is 300,000 kilometers per second. That is 3 followed by 5 zeros. If you divide 150 million by 300,000, you get the number of seconds that it takes for light to travel to earth from the sun. So you have to divide 150 million by 300,000. That is, in numerator you will have 150 million and in denominator 300,000, and you have to do the division. I know you can easily do this by cutting out the equal number of zeros and dividing. How many seconds is that? So activity 4 is you have to do the division. It's till now we were doing science and English. Now it's also maths and English. So you have to do this again. You have to do that calculation. Did you read carefully? Do the math here, that is in your textbook, to find out how long it takes for the light from the sun to reach the earth. Check your understanding with other classmates. If you have different answers, read again more carefully until you all agree that you have the right answer. You can pause the video here and do that calculation, and then you have to check your answers. So I hope you all did the calculation and got the same answer as mine. The time taken by light from sun to reach the earth is 500 seconds, or if we convert it into minutes, 8.3 minutes. That's the time that we think, like from dawn to morning. It's converted into just 8.3 minutes. So that was activity 3 and 4. Let's move ahead with activity 5. Have you heard of shadowgraphy? Shadowgraphy is a new word, but the explanation is also given just next to it. It's the art of using the hands to make interesting shadow shapes on a screen. We all do this when the lights went out, when there is power cut, and we are using the torch or the candles. That's when the wall is blank and we use our hands to make certain images from the light. That is called shadowgraphy. The art has been around a long time. It's not something new. It's a various years old art. European travelers learned it when visiting China. But at that time, people used puppets. You know the puppets, the Kathputliya. So European travelers learned it when they visited China, but at that time the Chinese people used to use puppets. Later, some people started doing shows with hand shadows. Instead of puppets, they started doing shows with hand shadows. A boy named Felician Trivet left home at 15 years old to become a performer and a magician. A 15-year-old boy named Felician Trivet. He left his home at 15 years old to become a performer. He wanted to perform shadowgraphy and a magician. He became very popular for his hand shadows. He liked to make his hands look like the shadows of famous people. Like we all have done the shadows for bird or snake or other such things. But with Felician Trivet, he used to make shadows of famous people. The features from his hands looked like the shadow looked like the features of some famous people. There is a scientific evidence that doing hand shadows activates a part of the brain called Broca's area. Now, this is a medical term, but scientific evidence is there. Scientific proof is there that if we do hand shadows, the part of the brain that is Broca's area that gets activated. This part of the brain helps you with language. In our brain, various neurons are there which do different functions. Like some part is for mathematical calculations, some for speech, some for reasoning, some for emotional quotient. So that way Broca's area, that part helps with language. So doing hand shadows may help you speak English. Isn't this quite interesting fact to know? If you would like to try making some hand shadows, start with a nice bright light in a dark room. As I said that we do when the lights goes out. And shine the light so that your shadows shows on a blank wall. Take a torch at night and turn off the lights. Turn on the torch, keep it at a distance, and from the light try to make some shadows with your hands. One of the easiest hand shadows to start with is a bird. That was the image that I used in the first slide. You can easily make the bird fly by moving your fingers. Try it and see. I know you must have done this even without my telling. And whenever lights goes out, you will be enjoying this. Activity 6 is let's activate Broca's area and practice some English at the same time. Work with a partner, sit back to back so you can't see each other's hands. You choose one animal shadow and your partner chooses the other. Well, this we would have done in classroom, but you can do this by yourself and you don't have to show it to me in your homework. So let's do the new words. Shadowgraphy. The art or practice of producing shadow pictures on a blank screen. The art of producing shadow pictures. Puppet. A doll that is moved by putting your hand inside it or by pulling strings or wires that are attached to it. That is puppet. Then evidence. It means proof. And the last one, Broca's area. Region of the brain that contains neurons involved in speech function. You have to write these words in your rough book one time. So that's it for today's class. While you're on YouTube, I would like you to search for shadowgraphy or guess the shadows and you will see various exciting examples which even you will enjoy. That's about shadowgraphy. We'll study the next activity in the next class.